is the identity project. I wanted to create a garment that best showcases my identity as well as who I am as a person. Growing up, I've always known the person I wanted to be. I've always knew what I liked, what I didn't like, and my personality. So when I was given this task, I honestly thought it was going to be a lot more easier than what I anticipated. I've always known who I was, but until this project, I couldn't figure out what best represented me and who I was as a person. As a young Afro-Latina woman, I definitely wanted to incorporate my heritage in some form or way, but also represent my style too, and just things that I do think represent me. So I honestly just started making a list of things that are a part of my everyday life and things that I love to do and see and wear. On that list, there were a huge section of different end of spectrum things such as my favorite foods, what I wear, my jewelry, my favorite colors, my kind of music I listen to, and my hair, especially my hair. I realized when I stopped at my hair, I realized what better way to represent myself as a person and my heritage on both sides than something that I always work with and I wear out every day. In these past few years, it really was a journey for me. I mean, really like all of my life growing up, it was always a struggle, and now it's like a journey for me, knowing how to take care of my hair. And I definitely wanted to do something based around that. So as you can see in this video, I started off having a picture of just me and my hair and my hair shape. I mean, I always wear my hair either up, down, but it's always going to be in its natural form, which are these big, energetic, thick curls. And I think that my hair also represents me in that way, my personality, how I feel like my personality is very energetic, it's big, and just really authentic. So I wanted to add that into this garment by creating the silhouette of my hair shape and making a garment in that same silhouette. The star of the show on this garment was definitely the crown base that you actually see me currently making. It was so time consuming because I've never worked with this PVC material before, which is a clear plastic material. And on top of that, cutting it out and making a pattern was very, I don't know, like stressful a little bit. And it was just really crazy because I was using techniques I've never used before on it, but I think in the end it's definitely worth it. But yeah, the cutting was crazy on this. I used both scissors and an X-Acto knife. I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably use an X-Acto knife only because it cuts more cleaner, whereas the scissors, my hand was like blistered up and it was just so time consuming. When cutting this, I knew I wanted to definitely cut it so that it was taller than my actual body frame if I were to wrap it around my waist, because it was a statement piece. This crown piece had to be bigger. It had to represent my personality, this big, bold item that you see and that you wear, that it's this confident, that represents a confident, young woman. It's very ambitious. It certainly was also a very ambitious project that I did do too. So I wanted to definitely wrap that and symbolize it in this garment piece. This crown piece I knew couldn't stay up by itself because it is PVC and it's a more thinner version. So I definitely wanted to add boning. And while I was testing the boning out on it, I realized I needed so much boning. So that was a whole process in itself, adding so much boning. The boning that I used was a mix of metal boning as well as the plastic boning. And honestly, you guys, I used so much boning in this piece that I ran out of both the metal and plastic boning. So what I ended up doing was using the leftover plastic PVC that you see right here. Whatever I cut out that were scraps, I rolled up into like this long roll and just slipped it in boning cloth material, which you will see a little further down, and just sewed it onto this PVC crowning, just so it can be really stiff and really make that statement, that big bold statement, and just stay upright. If you guys were to actually wear this, it's also very heavy. It's very heavy, which makes it even more cool because it just is such a unique piece that I really love just making and creating. So a few hours later, after I finished most of my boning, actually when I went home, you guys, I added more boning. So what you can see on here are most of the metal and plastic boning already on it. But it was getting late. As you can see, the window is really dark. It was really late. And I ended up going home and just adding the rest of the boning. That piece ended up being about 20 to 25 pounds. That's how heavy it was. And so the next day, I ended up adding armholes. Once I started measuring myself, my back width length, I measured it to this crown piece. Honestly, when I got to this part, I was a little bit more relieved because I really loved how it was turning out to be. Considering I was really nervous about my ribbing pieces because I thought it was going to be so big and so heavy that it would be falling downward instead of staying upward. After finishing on the armholes, I ended up using that other oven cleaning foam pads that you guys saw earlier and just have been sewing the padded cushion onto this crown. Once I was done doing the fun part of adding that padded foam onto this crown that I'm currently cutting out the armholes with, I honestly, you guys, just started getting sewing my fabric on and also matching up the armholes I cut out onto the black fabric I ended up using. And for my fabric, I ended up using a cotton gabardine material. Once I ended up sewing the black gabardine fabric together and cutting out its armholes to match the PVC crown, I ended up looking and finding a professional seamstress in Paris to put on my grommets, which are the big gold metal grommets that you guys will see. And the reason why I had him help me with that is because I didn't have the right machine for the bigger grommets. They're very hard to find, those big machines for those. I believe they were 15 grommet sizing. They're not, anyone just doesn't have those. So it was important to do this all black look for me as I thought it was very mysterious and intriguing. And I wanted to relate it to my personality as I know I can be very mysterious yet intriguing, as I can come off sometimes closed off and quiet, as I love just being with myself and having my thoughts to myself and just being by myself too. I thought that was important to also replicate in this garment by using an all black color. I also have gold grommets because I'm always wearing gold jewelry. Sometimes I do wear silver, but there's something warming and very connecting and such a warm energy I get from gold jewelry. And I wanted to definitely incorporate hardware because growing up for me, every time I thought of like a lot of jewelry, like rings, bracelets, necklaces, I always thought of my grandmother's. on both sides of my families. They always wore like rings or they had hoops. And me, myself, I love wearing hoops. I always wear my gold hoops that you guys saw in my concept picture in the beginning. And so I definitely wanted to incorporate that sense of familiarity into my garment and my signature by also adding those grommets into the base crown. This is the final look. So of course we have the base crown, and then I put a blazer dress underneath it, as that I actually created too. The blazer dress for this project along with it. I wanted to add make it just a whole outfit, and I just love a great blazer. I think it's so structural. This blazer also had a silk leopard lining as well inside of it, and it's just so classic, and I wanted to add a classic piece. And yeah, you guys, honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed putting so much of myself and who I am into this project. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.